Hi everybody, myself Dr. Trapti Gupta. We have already discussed the basics and first law of thermodynamics. Today we will see what are the limitations of first law and how with the help of second law of thermodynamics we can overcome these limitations. The first law of thermodynamics simply establishes equivalence between different form of energies. However, this law fails to tell us under what conditions and up to what extent it is possible to convert one form of energy into another. We can understand this limitation with the help of following example. Suppose heat is flowing from hot body to a cold body. First law simply tells us that the quantity of heat lost by the hot body is equal to the heat gained by the cool body. It never reveals that heat can only flow from hot body to cold body and not in the reverse direction. Next point is, first law does not tell us that up to what extent does the process or reaction proceed. In other words, the first law does not explain why chemical reactions do not proceed to completion. For example, suppose consider the following reaction: carbon monoxide in gaseous form plus H2O in gaseous state proceed to CO2 in gaseous state and hydrogen. If we start in this reaction, if we start with 1 mole of carbon monoxide and 1 mole of water, then after the completion of the reaction, we should have 1 mole of CO2 and 1 mole of hydrogen. But if we check the concentrations at equilibrium, it is less than 100%. Next is, it is not possible to convert internal energy into work completely. In other words, we can say that it is not possible to make a heat engine of 100% efficiency. All the limitations discussed here can be addressed with the help of second law of thermodynamics. The second law helps us to determine the direction in which energy can be transferred. It also helps us to predict whether a given process or a chemical reaction can occur spontaneously. It introduces a new concept of entropy and also help us to know the equilibrium conditions. It is known from experience that although various forms of energy can be completely transferred into one another, yet heat, which is a typical form of energy which cannot be completely transformed into work. The second law helps us to calculate maximum portion of heat that can be converted into work. Next topic is heat engine, a contrivance or mechanical machine by which heat energy is transferred into mechanical energy in a continuous process is called a heat engine. Even though heat energy and mechanical energy are equivalent to each other, the conversion of heat energy into mechanical energy is not easy. There are many principles by which the heat energy is converted into mechanical energy, that is, heat engine works. In every heat engine, there must be a substance like gas or a mixture of liquid and its vapors, which is continuously heated to a higher temperature T1 and then cooled to a lower temperature T2. In other words, we can say that in every heat engine, two heat reservoirs are maintained, one at high temperature and the other is at lower temperature. The working substance absorbs heat from the reservoir at higher temperature and then it is cooled to a lower temperature at another reservoir. A part of heat energy is rejected at the reservoir of lower temperature and the working substance is brought back to its original temperature. It is observed that in the whole cycle of operation, a certain quantity of heat energy is converted into mechanical energy. The whole quantity of heat energy is not converted into mechanical energy as a part of heat energy is rejected at a reservoir of lower temperature. The efficiency of heat engine is defined as the ratio of heat converted into mechanical energy to the quantity of heat absorbed from the reservoir at higher temperature. So, the efficiency of heat engine is never 100%. It is also seen that there is no method by which it is possible to convert heat energy into mechanical energy by using a single reservoir maintained at a single temperature. For a heat engine to work, two reservoirs are required, one at a higher temperature and the other at a lower temperature. Next is statements of second law of thermodynamics. Kelvin-Planck statement. It is impossible to construct an engine which operating in a complete cycle will absorb heat from a single body and convert it completely to work without leaving changes in the working system. By this statement, it means that a single reservoir at a single temperature cannot continuously transfer heat into work, and there should be two heat reservoirs at different temperatures for any heat engine. One reservoir called the source is at a higher temperature and another reservoir called the sink is at lower temperature, as we have already discussed in the topic of heat engine. Next is Clausius statement. Heat flows from hot body to cold body due to difference of temperature. However, in a refrigerator, heat get absorbed from a body at a lower temperature and get rejected to a body at a higher temperature. Here, it is required that heat flows through some outer agency. That is, it is not feasible to transfer heat from a body at a lower temperature to a body at a higher temperature without any external source. This led Clausius to give second law of thermodynamics as follows. It is impossible to transfer for a self-acting machine unaided by any external agency to convert heat continuously from one body at a lower temperature to another body at a higher temperature. These two are the different statements of second law, but it has been proved that these two statements are equivalent to each other. That's all for this lecture. For any query, please type in the comment section and don't forget to attempt the quiz. Link of the quiz is given below. Thank you.